the Ghana MTC is actually in the Ghana Accra mission. And so it was like a 10-minute drive for us to our mission home. So it was really interesting that morning. They just woke us up at 6 in the morning and was like, we're going to see your mission president. And then we just drove down the highway, or sort of highway, and we got to our mission home, which is right across the street from the Ghana temple. And he then proceeded to interview us and to talk to us and to welcome us into the field. And then we went to the West Africa area office, which was right across the road again, close to the temple. And we had our meeting where we then received our trainers that day. And so it just moved kind of quickly. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it would be a little bit of a travel to get there, but it was just so quick. We were at the mission home by 7, and we were getting our companions by 2 in the afternoon and heading out to our areas. So when the church was first organized, it was first organized in Ghana in 1985 is when the mission was organized. But the first branch was organized in the 1970s about. And it was organized in Accra, actually, in where the temple now stands, in that general area. It was called the Christiansborg branch. And so now today, after that started, the church has spread throughout Ghana, but mostly throughout Accra, because that's where it kind of started. And so the first stakes were organized some years later in Tema and Takoradi. Takoradi is in Cape Coast, but Tema is in Accra in my mission. And so it was kind of interesting to be able to watch the growth. At one point, the Africa West Area Presidency even told us that our mission was growing the fastest stake-wise. I was able to witness so many organizations of wards and branches and splits and all sorts of stuff. The Tema stake was split while I was there into the Ashaman stake. I was able to witness the split of every single ward I served in, and I served in 7 wards, and so I was able to see every single one of them split while I was there in 2 years, and I've even heard that they're even getting ready to split some more. And so there are now, I believe, about 4 stakes in Ghana, and I believe 3 branches that are run by the mission president. The Adenta stake, the Tema stake, the Ashaman stake, and the Christiansborg stake. And then there's the Ho district, the Koforidua district, and the Pong district. And we just actually received word at our mission reunion that the Koforidua district is preparing to become a stake now. And the Pong district, they're also preparing to make a stake, and they're looking for places for stake buildings. And so the church is growing very fast in the short little time that we've been there since 1985. As for religion, Ghanaians are very, very, very religious. I believe they're one of the top religious countries in the world, just because of how much they love God and different things. You can't go anywhere without hearing something. One of my favorite phrases that I'd hear every day was in their language they say Nyami Adam, which means by God's grace or God's grace. And they say it to you everywhere. You ask them how they're doing, they say by God's grace I'm doing fine, or but in the name of Jesus I'm doing fine. It's always there. Even somebody you think wouldn't be religious, you still hear that. And they're just a very religious Christian people. But there's also Muslims there. And so they work together, which is the first time I've ever seen Christians and Muslims work together. But they just love being with each other. And even the Muslims believe in Jesus Christ, which was something I didn't understand, but they just love it. The only problem is, or only thing is they have so many different branches of faith. The rule in the White Handbook where it said you can't preach next to a house of worship, that's nearly impossible, because there's one in every corner. Several of my apartments, there were 3 churches, different churches around our house. They'd be up in the morning praying and you could hear them. And so it wasn't like their culture and I'd say their culture is their religion, is what they believe. That's what basically makes their culture. They like to see what's in the Bible, and that's how they build their culture. Like, they have so many different little quirky things, like you can't use your left hand, and it says that in the Bible, that you use your right hand, it's your covenant hand, and so it's bad for you to use your left hand in anything over there because of that. And so just those different things of how they put religion together. It made it also difficult for us as missionaries, but they're ready to accept the truth. They're just looking for the truth. That's why they go from place to place looking for it. And what I would say is just like connecting everything together. Because at the beginning of my mission, I figured this out the last few weeks, but really the entire gospel is like connected in a remarkable way. And Ghanaians, they just see different things like, oh, here's the commandments, here's this, here's that, here's this, here's this. They just haven't connected all the pieces together. So many things you'll teach them and they'll say, oh yeah, I kind of believe that. I know that's true, but I've never heard it before. The remembrance thing of the premortal life. But once we were able to help them get it all connected, they were like, oh, okay, I get it. And so just helping them to connect pieces. And then, of course, helping them to accept the Book of Mormon, because that's something that's kind of weird to them. They're very curious and a very superstitious people. And so if you pull out the Book of Mormon, they're like, devil book, I ain't touching that thing. And so just helping them to understand that the Book of Mormon was not something from the devil, helping them to figure that out, and then helping them to connect all the pieces of the gospel. Just help them to figure it out. That Joseph Smith was a prophet. When they figured that out, when they understood that Moses was called the same way, the other prophets in the Bible were called the same way. And so that's what really helped them to learn the gospel and to love it. And they love the plan of salvation, especially the part about life after death, because that's something that they don't know too much about. You see posters all over the place, obituary posters that say, oh, what a shock, this person is dead, or something like that. And it's just something that you can tell hurts them. And they end up getting drunk and partying when they when they have a funeral. And so just them having that comfort of there's life after death just really helps them out, and that's something they love, want to have. Something that really helps them is you have to be persistent with them to get to church, because they go to so many different other churches. And so a common excuse you'll hear is, oh, I have my church, which really, if you look at it, they know they're lost. They just don't want to leave their friends and family. And so we found that just getting fellowshippers for those those investigators and the people everywhere. If you can get the members engaged to go and just be with the people that you're teaching, then they'll come to church, because they rely on friends a lot. They know each other. They're like family. They call everyone their brother and sister. So you got to ask them, is it your biological brother or sister or your friend? Say, oh, it's my friend. And so if you can get the members to be friends with them and you can become friends with them, they'll come to church and they'll start to get the ball rolling to where they'll become converted. So I served from October 2013 to October 2015. And so my areas, let's see. So I served in an area called Senchi 2, which consisted of 3 cities, Atimpoku, Japong, and Akosombo, and actually 4, Tosca. I was forgetting that one. And then my second area was a place called Nungwa. My third area was a place called Bethlehem. My fourth area was called the Klagon. My fifth area was called Lashibi, which was the same ward, but I was just transferred across the river. And then I was transferred to a place called Asuchuari, and then I was transferred back to Nungwa to finish my mission. So